So welcome everyone to the September 2016 AETC program E-Learn committee call. We are still waiting for some people as they join. We'll get started because, again, there's lots of information to cover. So this meeting is being recorded for those who are missing what's happening right now or who are unable to join us. It will be posted on our website after the call. A few housekeeping tips before we do get started. Please mute your computer speakers so we do not hear an echo. And if you do have to leave the call, please hang up and call back. Do not put us on hold. We would like to avoid hearing your hold music. We're going to get started right now. We have Craig Wean again with us from Adobe Connect. He was our presenter on the July call, and he went over a lot of information on some of the new features with Adobe Connect and some of the more interactive features with Adobe Connect. We did run out of time, and we were not able to cover all of the information that we had hoped to present. So this part two to that call is going to try and capture a little bit of what was captured or reviewed on the last call, but then also some additions that we did not get to. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we go. So our learning objectives today is to identify some of the best practices for the interactive features that were presented on the last call. We have kind of narrowed down some of those, which are the layouts and the custom pods, and then also Adobe Presenter. So we're going to go into a little bit more in-depth information on those. As well, we are going to reserve about 15 minutes at the end of the call to discuss the AETC program Adobe Connect contract renewal process. And then Craig will tell us a little bit about what to consider if you are new to the Adobe Connect contract and want to join the AETC program contract, or if you are just renewing your Adobe Connect contract with the AETC program, and then some of the timelines for what's coming up, when the process will start, and what other information we need to know regarding that. So there you will have some time to ask some questions about the process at that time. Throughout the presentation, if you do have questions, please enter them in the chat room. Liz and I will do our best to field those to Craig as they come in, or you can try and save those for the end of the call. Without further ado, we have already met Craig. Here's a little bit more information about him. Feel free to go back and check this out and once the call is recorded and posted. But we do want to get started right away. And so, Craig, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Oops.
Yep, thank you. And thank you for everyone taking some time and joining us this afternoon. And your busy schedule is here, and happy fall. And for those of you who read that little bio, yes, I am a Bills fan. Please don't make fun of me too much. It's going to be a long year. So we'll jump right into it. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go over custom layouts. We're going to go over pods a little bit more in depth. And we're also going to go over Adobe Presenter. And again, we're going to talk about the Connect renewal that is going to be happening in, I think, 2 to 3 months, I believe it is. So I'm just going to start screen sharing. And again, if you have any questions, feel free throughout today's session, put those in the chat pod, and we'll make sure we get those answered. I'll answer them verbally, or we'll get them answered in the chat. So again, the first thing we wanted to touch upon was going to be custom layouts. So think of your Connect room as a house. So think of your room in a house as a layout. So these layouts are on the right, which is going to be rooms in your house. Now each pod, which you can see is maybe a notes pod, maybe an attendee pod, is like a piece of furniture in that room. So in each layout, you could have different pods, just like in your, my analogy, each room can have a different piece of furniture. Now these can be set up ahead of time. Now the way I would do that is in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see this plus sign. And if you hover over it, you'll see it says Add Layout. Now when I click Add Layout, you'll see this pop up and it says Create New Layout. Now I can create a blank layout, which will just give you a blank layout with my cool background, or I can duplicate an existing layout if I want to, and I can duplicate it off any of the existing layouts that I have right now, and then I have the ability to rename it if need be. So for our example today, we're just going to create a blank layout. Now you'll see it's like a canvas. You're going to see it goes all the way to the bottom. Now with these layouts, I could actually move them and think of this as a way to have your session go. So for example, when I give my session and I click on Lobby, this is just information about my session. And then when I click Screen Share, I'm able to do screen sharing on the platform. And then when I want to show a video, I have my video that's preloaded ahead of time. So use these layouts as a way for you to transition to different topics, different pieces of content, and different ideas. So again, you can set these up ahead of time, or you can create them on the fly like we're doing right now. We actually just did this in Judy's meeting room just a few moments before we got started. So again, we hit the plus sign. We can create a blank layout, which is our blank canvas, or we can duplicate an existing layout if we want to. Now, let's talk about pods. So again, those pods are going to be what you'll use to use content potentially, to chat with people. The first one we'll go over, and the one that's used the most, is a share pod. So your share pod is going to give you the ability to upload PowerPoints, PDFs, FLVs, MP4s throughout your session. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put the piece of content that you can actually upload into a share pod in the chat pod, so you all have a reference of that later. So there you go. Those are all the files that it can take. Now, easily enough to upload a file, all we have to do is click the drop down, and we can share our screen if we want to, like I'm doing. We can share a document, or we could share a whiteboard. Now, for this example, what we're going to do is we're just going to share a document. Now, when I click Share Document, I could actually browse to my content library if I want to, or I could browse to my computer, which you might want to do. So for this example, I'm just going to browse right to my computer. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to upload the file here, and it's going to convert, and that'll just take just a few moments. Now, when it's in the room, in our SharePod, we're able to interact with it if we'd like. You can see we can zoom in if we want to. I can fit with. I can fit page if I want to. And I can pan the document if it was multiple pages. Now, one thing that I really like from a training environment is the ability to make this asynchronous content in a synchronous environment. Now, you may say, what does that mean? So in this example, I will show you that once this button is dark, I control the room. I control the PDF. If I unsync this, then everyone has the ability to scroll through the PowerPoint. Now, an example of what that is, I'll switch back to the PowerPoint slides right now, and everyone in the session, as I go through, you're going to see that it goes as I go. Now, I'm going to hit that sync button. Now, everyone in the session has the ability to browse the PowerPoint themselves. So feel free, everyone. You're going to see in the lower left-hand corner of that SharePod, you have the ability to browse the PowerPoint. And let's just say when I want, I could actually say, you know what, we're actually going to, talk about this specifically. I could hit that sync button, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm selfish. We're going to talk about Craig, actually. There we go. It's synced back up, and I'm in control of the session again. So that's a really neat way for you to also engage your users and give them the ability to also maybe browse the document potentially. Some other things we have available to us in the SharePod is we can actually whiteboard on anything in the SharePod. Now to do that, as the host, I would just click on this draw button right up here. Now when I click that, you're going to see on the left-hand side, this panel opens up. And you'll see each feature opens up horizontally. Now this is probably the one you're going to use the most when we're talking about whiteboarding. This is going to be for marker, highlighter, pen, pencil. Now to use these, I'll just click on highlighter, and if I want to change the color, I can click on this. We'll just say I like yellow for the time being, and I could highlight anything that I think is important. Maybe I also want to marker something that I think is important, and it looks like it's the same color. I can decide, you know what, I want a blue. Easy enough. Blue, And there we go. I can circle that if I think it's important as well. All these features are available to you right when you click that draw button, and you can click and see what you want to use, and you can mess with the color. You also, if you'd like, can write text right in the SharePod. Maybe you want to write please read. It's up to you. You also have symbols that you could potentially use. Maybe you want to use a pointer, because I think it's really important that we talk about training here today. There you go. I can use that and I could whiteboard. Another thing that I can do is I can give individuals whiteboarding rights, and I could actually click on their name in the attendee pod and actually give them specific rights as well. And I'll show you that right now as I'm actually going to have the attendee pod up, and I'm going to log in as a guest just to show you that here in just a moment here. And again, if you do have any questions, feel free. Make sure you're putting those in, and we will get those answered here. Great. So I'm logged in as a test now, and you'll see it pop up just now. So as a host, I control the room from top to bottom. You're going to see that I can control the lobby, the layouts, the pods. But as a participant, I'm just there to watch the session. But what I can do is I could actually click on this and make people a host or a presenter. And I could also enable drawing rights for them so they'll be able to whiteboard. Or maybe I want to enable their video, or I want to enable them a presenter. You'll see that they now have the ability to do whiteboarding if need be. So again, it's very easy for you to actually just click on that person's name, enable drawing for them, and then they get the ability to whiteboard on the document. So you can do that for individuals, or you can do that as group and enable all participants to whiteboard right in pod options as well. And again, if you do have questions about that, we do training on this, so we'll be happy to walk you through this as well if you do have any questions. So we also have the ability, if we wanted to, instead of whiteboarding on a document, we can actually just bring up a whiteboard and do the same thing if we'd like to right from here. And again, if you want to use this more for a collaborative session, you can go ahead and do that right here and just bring up a whiteboard in the SharePod. Now again, the SharePod is going to be the one you're going to use the most when you're dealing with online content materials, and that content that you can use is right in that chat pod available to you as well. Now, the next pod I want to talk about is going to be webcams, so the video pod. So webcams, we can have unlimited webcams in Adobe Connect, which is a differentiator for Connect in that space. So to turn on my webcam, I will need to be a host or presenter, and all I would do is click Start My Webcam here, and you'll see it'll pop up right here. Now again, I control the pod, so if I want to make it bigger, if I want to make it smaller, I have the ability to do that by just doing it like dragging it like you would a web browser, that I have the ability to do that. If I wanted to give other individuals webcam rights, you can see if I do the same thing and go to that attendee pod, I could enable webcams for that specific participant, and I could also enable webcams for every participant right in this icon right here. Now once I do that, everyone will have the ability, they'll have that icon pop up right there, and they'll actually have a button up here to start their webcam, and they can do that and start their webcam, and we could all be on webcam. Now there's two modes for webcams. There's grid mode, which is a Brady Bunch view, which you can see if there was 4 people on webcam, I would take here, they would take there, someone here, and someone up here. So that's a Brady Bunch view, which we call grid mode. There's also a film strip mode, which for a session like this would be make a little bit more sense. Now think of a film strip mode as I would be the main speaker right on top, and then I would have everyone tiled right across the bottom. And we can actually show that potentially if Judy or Elizabeth, do you guys have a webcam on your computer by any chance?
Yes, we do.
If you do, cool. So if you guys could turn on your webcams, that would be great. And we'll actually just show that for just a few seconds just so people can see a visual of what it looks like here. Cool. So we're going to see first, this is grid mode. We can see we each take up an equal part of the pod. Now when I go to film strip mode, you'll see that I'm the main speaker right on top, and they're right below me, film strip across the bottom. Now let's just say I'm giving the first part of the presentation, and then Judy's giving the second part. We can see we can move her right to the top of the screen when it's her turn to give her the presentation. And then maybe it's Elizabeth's turn to give the presentation. We'll move her right up top. And it's very easy for me to move through those whenever we need to. Perfect. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate that. And we will go ahead and turn that off and hide everyone here. Thank you. And we'll go back to screen sharing here. Great. So now that's our webcam pod. So the big thing to get out of that, unlimited webcams that you can have in Adobe Connect. We can give webcam rights to everyone. We can give them to individuals. We can make it bigger or smaller. And we can do a grid mode or a film strip mode if we want to. Now I know we've kind of been referencing the attendee pod here and there, but kind of want to talk about a few other things as we're going through this. So our attendee pod. So we have hosts, presenters, and participants. As you can see today, me, Elizabeth, and Judy are the hosts today. And we have Blanca, Carlos, Franklin, Karen, Liz, Nicole, and I don't want to pronounce the last name wrong, or the name wrong, so I'm not even going to try because I'm very bad at it, at names. So you can see when I come in as the host, I control the room from top to bottom. I control the layouts. I control the pods and how they look. Now, if I go back to being a presenter, you're going to take a look at these layouts right here. When I move to presenter, you can see it actually disappears. Now, as a presenter, I don't have the ability to actually change pods or add layouts. But what I do have the ability to do is basically be a co-presenter. Now, when I go to a presenter, you can see I can't change layouts, but I can still share documents if I need to. I can still start my webcam if I need to. And what I can also do is start my audio if I had voice over IP enabled. Now, you're going to actually see when I go down to a host, you're going to see I don't have the ability to do anything. You actually see that I have the ability to turn on my webcam right now just because I enabled it for a participant. So I'll turn this off for that example. I'll go back down to a participant where you can see that I don't have the ability to change layouts. I don't have the ability to turn on my camera, or I can't share anything because as a participant, you're just there to basically watch and learn throughout the session. And as a host, I control the room from top to bottom. Now, you also see I have an attendee status here, which is great because you can see right up here a person, what it looks like raising their hand. And that person, what those are actual emoticons right there. And they're actually in Judy's room as well, where you can actually maybe raise your hand if you have a question. Maybe you want to agree with what I say. Maybe you want to disagree because what you think I said is wrong. Maybe you want to give an applause to me because you think I'm doing such a great job. That you can do right there. It looks like Nicole just did a smiley face right there. So those are available if you want to kind of make your session a little bit more engaging and make it more lifelike for those people. Because, you know, not everyone's going to agree with what I'm saying. You may want to say, you know, Craig, I really disagree with what you said. No, that's not right. That's available to you. Also in that attendee pod is going to be the ability for you to do breakout rooms. Now, for breakout rooms, these can be preset ahead of time if you want, or you can create them on the fly. Now, to add breakout rooms, I just hit this plus sign right here, and it'll add breakout rooms. Or if I want to delete them, I could easily just go to that X and exit them out right here. Now, we can do a few things if we want for breakout rooms. I could actually drag and drop people into those breakout rooms. And if I also wanted to, I can evenly distribute from the main. So let's just say we have 18 people in my session in my room, and I have 3 breakout rooms. you guys can do the math. It'll put 6 people in each breakout room. Once I did that, and once I do that and start breakout rooms, if their audio is matched to their name, it'll actually bring their audio with them as well, and they could communicate together. And you can see this is a whiteboard that I did a while ago, and it looks like people got a little crazy here, is that I have the ability, if I want to have preloaded content ahead of time like this, and I could have PowerPoints PDF so people can work on this in their breakout room, or we can have them actually upload their own content potentially. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually broadcast messages as the host. Maybe I want to say 5 minutes left, and I can send that out, and that'll actually go to all of my participants as well, and they'll see there's actually 5 minutes left in the session. As a host, I could also jump to breakout room if I wanted to, and I can see what's going on. One of my favorite things to do is actually use Connect as kind of like a command and control center. So right now those breakout rooms are still going on and those users are still going through that. But what I can also do is actually see what they're doing in that breakout room. So I could see, and I don't think that's the right one. We'll check this one out. We can see this is the whiteboard that was going on in breakout room 2. And I can actually bring that right into my live session as those breakout rooms are going on and see what's going on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end breakout rooms right here. Now great, breakout rooms are ended. We're all going to be back to the main meeting room. And I could actually pull in that content. I could pull in their chat conversations right into the main meeting room so we can actually discuss as a group potentially what they learned on that specific topic if need be. So that's going to be the attendee pod here. The next one I want to go over is Notes Pod. Now think of the Notes Pod as very easy to go through quickly, but it does bring with it a lot of interesting things that I can do. In my lobby, a main example I'll use it for is going to be the ability to actually broadcast my information. So you can see, I believe we're using it in our room, in Judy's room right now, but you can see I actually have phone instructions right here. I actually have contact information. So anytime someone jumps into my meeting room, one of the first things they're going to see is the phone instructions and how to dial in, which makes it really easy for people. They're also going to see information to contact me, my email, my phone number, any support that's available to them. I could also use the Notes Pod maybe for notes. So I can use this as an ongoing discussion to actually take notes about what's going on. In our session right now, me and Judy are actually using it as an ability to actually know what order I'm going in today. So you can actually see I actually have a presenter-only area where I could have notes available so I can make sure I'm referencing them throughout our session like I am today, which is a really neat feature that you can go ahead and use if need be. The next pod I want to talk about is going to be the chat pod, which is going to be pretty self-explanatory, but a very good one to talk about. So we can see in our session here today, we have a chat pod going on in the room. And if we'd like, we have the ability to discuss anything. So if I want to say, hi, Judy, or hi, Nicole, it's just ongoing discussion that we're going to be able to have throughout our session here today. So it's ongoing discussion throughout the session, and we could ask questions throughout if we'd like. If I also wanted to change the text size, if I wanted to change my chat color, if I want to show the timestamps of things, I can do that as well. And that's going to be available to me throughout the session. You can see I put those timestamps in there for everyone as well. I can also export the chat if I'd like to. And again, this is open to anyone in the room, and they could chat back and forth to each other. I could also have individual conversations with people if need be. So if I wanted to click maybe on Nicole because she's doing, she's being very active today, I can actually start a private chat with her where I just said, hey, how's the weather potentially? And I can actually start private chats with people. And Nicole probably can tell you that I'm actually just saying, that's great. It's doing great. So she's able to go ahead and chat back to me individually. And looks like she's in California, she told me privately. So question on how do you add the timestamp? So what we'll do right here is in the chat pod right here, I go to pod options, and I can show timestamp right here. And as I type, you'll see that comes right there. If I want to turn it off, you can easily see I can click right there. And if I want to email the chat history, it'll say chat history was emailed to Wean@Cleric. So if you want to keep that for a later date and time, if I was to go to my email, that would be waiting right there for me. Now, great chat, open conversation, lovely. So we can always make sure we're communicating with people. We also have another option for communicating with typing is a Q&A. Now think of a Q&A as the ability to still have that discussion, but it's going to be more private. Now what I mean by that is we have a participant view and we have a presenter view. So our participants could ask questions and other participants won't be able to see those questions. As a host or a presenter, I could answer those privately or I could answer those publicly if need be. Now if it's publicly, everyone's going to see that, and if it's privately, it's going to go right to that individual person. I could also assign it to certain people. If I have multiple hosts, multiple presenters, I can export that Q&A if I wanted to, and I can actually send messages to people. Now I'm going to show an example in our session here today. Is I'm going to bring a Q&A pod in right now, and if someone could be so grateful and ask a question, one of my participants. No pressure. Don't everyone do it at once. So go ahead if you could put a question right in the Q&A here, and we'll make sure we get an answer. And so Nicole just asked me a question, and none of my other participants can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer back right now, and Judy laughed because Judy saw it because she's a host and a participant. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign it to myself so it's locked out, and I'm going to respond back privately and publicly. And so this is going to be my response back publicly right now. And you can see that went to everyone, and my response back that was my response publicly. And if I want to do privately, I'm going to say that was mean, so she can get that to herself. So again, as a participant, you're not going to see the question that she asked, but again, I could respond back privately to her or publicly if I need be. So it's just another way for you to maybe use the Q&A in more of a private setting. One thing that I've came across in dealing with educational institutes and training is that people are sometimes reluctant to ask questions in a chat field because anyone can see it, whereas a Q&A is private to that person, and it's not going to know, if Liz is asking a question, if Graham is going to be answering a question, if Carlos, your other participants aren't going to be able to see that question being asked. So that's going to be a differentiator. Yep.
You said that you answered her question publicly?
Yes.
Did you answer it publicly? Because I'm looking for it.
I did. You might be looking at are you looking at the presenter view or the participant view? You should be looking at the presenter view.
I'm looking at the screen where it says show answer questions. And is that where it would appear?
Yep, so it would be show all questions.
See. Got it, presenter view, I see. Okay, great. I understand, thanks.
Yep, no problem. So a very funny question, unexpected, way to keep it light. caught me off guard. So that's going to be a big difference between those two. Is the Q&A might be a little bit better in a training session where you want things a little bit more private, and a chat might be better when you're just doing ongoing discussion like we are today, which is nice because we're all friends, except Nicole after that question. Now the next pod I want to talk about is going to be the file share pod here. So it's actually used in our room right now that Judy's in. It just gives you the ability as the host or the presenter to upload files and have people take home with them. Now anyone in my room right now would be able to take these home, and same thing in Judy's room right now. You're actually going to see it available right next to me right here. Is she can see that right here. You're going to have that available to you, and you can actually click on those, download them, and take those home with you today if you want to. Now to do that, all I have to do is go ahead, hit upload file, and I could browse to my content library. I could browse right to my computer, and what it'll do is it'll actually upload that right to, and people can click on that and take that home. Now it looks like someone had a question. How do you rename the notes pod? Example, phone instructions. Great question. So what we can do is whenever we add in a notes pod, it'll generally say notes whatever number it is. And let's just say I'm typing in text here. Great. I can actually double click on it and edit it and just say AETC notes. There it is. And that's my notes pod that I have. So again, all I got to do is double click on it and change it that way. I can do the same thing in the file share pod if I want to. I named it files to take home. I can also do it in the web links if I want to, and I can also do it in the share pod as well. So easy enough to do that. All you got to do, double click on it, give it a new name. So to upload the file, click upload file, browse to your computer or browse to your content library, and your participants, all they'll have to do is just click on it, hit download file, and download it right to their computer like I've done. And again, in what we have is information about me and your account manager, and there's also information about Clerix' value-added services. A few more pods here. Next one is going to be web links. Now, web links is going to give you the ability to browse people to certain websites throughout the session. So to do that, what I'll do is go to pods, web links, add new web links. I'll click this pod options here, and I can add a link to whatever I'd want it to be and give it a name if so, and then I just hit OK. Now when I do that, it pops up here, and let's just say I click on this and I hit browse to. It's actually going to browse everyone to our session to this website. So it gives you the ability to get information out to people or get people to a website. I may do that today with this group because maybe I want you to all go view information about our free ongoing training throughout the session. So a lot of different use cases. One of my main ones is to get information to people when we're discussing any value-added services that we may offer. You may use it to get people to sign up for something. You may want them to check out a potential website per se. Now the last pod that we're going to talk about here before we get into some of that custom pods is going to be polling. So now to get the polls, we go to pods, poll, add new poll, and any poll we've used before, I can use that existing poll that I've used before because Connect is a persistent environment. Now we can do multiple choice, multiple answer, short answer, and what I can do is I actually just type my question, what is your favorite color? Red, blue, black, yellow, white. And I could hit open, and I could leave that open throughout people and have them vote throughout. And you can see it's multiple answer, I could view votes to see who's voted and who hasn't voted, and I could broadcast those results to everyone, need be. Now I'm going to go back and do that in this session right here. We're going to do a poll question here, and maybe we'll do, again, we'll do what is your favorite color, and we can see who's voted and who hasn't voted. So I'm going to say blue is mine, and it looks like we have a few people voting. It looks like, if I want to call someone out, it looks like Elizabeth hasn't voted yet. And what I can do is I can broadcast those results to everyone, and we can see that no one's favorite color is black. We have one person who likes yellow, one person who likes orange, 50% like blue. I'm actually going to switch mine to red because red is really my favorite color. And again, I can see who's voted, who hasn't voted. So if I wanted to call out Blanca, looks like Blanca hasn't voted, Carlos hasn't voted, Franklin, I can go ahead and call those people out, need be. So I'll end that poll question here, and it'll actually get those results on the back end of Adobe Connect. Now, that's going to wrap up our pods here today. One thing I do want to go over is custom pods and applications that can be used. Now, think of Connect as an iPhone. So it has the ability to come with certain applications. So for example, it comes with polling, it comes with unlimited webcams, chat pod, which is great and all, but same thing with your iPhone is it comes with those applications, but it also has the ability to bring in applications from an app store just like your iPhone does. Some are free, some you have to pay for. It all depends on which one you choose. Maybe you want to play a little music before your session. You can actually download this right to your computer and upload some music if you'd like to. Potentially you can do the same thing. Maybe Judy wanted to have a meeting countdown timer for today's session right in, or we want to do closed captioning. These are available to you right in the App Store that you can go in and bring to your live session if need be. Our partner actually creates probably 90% of these. So if you want more additional information, I'm sure Judy can get you in touch with me so we can actually get you that information and potentially get you some pricing if some of those are going to be ones you would need to pay for. Now what I can also do is I'm actually going to go to my meeting room here and actually show you one of the pods here today. So this is the YouTube pod. So this is going to give me the ability to actually bring one of these live sessions right into one of these videos right into my live meeting room. So hold on one second here. You can see my computer is giving me some trouble. There we go. Now we'll see what do we want to, anyone in the chat pod, tell me what we want to look up a video for. Keep it appropriate. I'll be waiting for some suggestions, and we'll actually browse that topic and see what videos. If we want to do a school, if we want to do sports, if we want to do music. Okay, let's see. It looks like we have cat videos, so we'll just say funny cat videos. And we'll just click one, and we'll see that that is going to play, and this is playing right from YouTube. This is in my meeting room, so you're not going to hear the audio, unfortunately. But if this was in Judy's meeting room, or you were in my meeting room, you would actually be able to hear the audio right from here if you want to. Now, if I want to, I could actually pause this if I want to. And if I want to whiteboard on this, I could easily do that. Maybe I want to draw like a funny face or something. I don't know, whatever it may be. Maybe I want to use the pointer. I can do that right with this pod too. So just some neat things that you can do in a session to change it up every once in a while if you'd like to as well. So I'm going to stop that right now. No more fun and games for everyone. And that is going to wrap up our custom pod layouts and all the other pods.
I have a quick question about the videos. Is that feature compatible with other online video platforms like Vimeo or maybe even SlideShare?
So there isn't any other platform on the market that has custom applications like Connect.
Okay.
So you're not going to see YouTube.
Okay.
There's
So
integrations into Kaltura and things like that.
Okay.
But when you're talking about custom applications, Connect is leading in the industry just because of the open APIs. You can, though, play videos in your room, but they would need to be in FLV or MP4.
Okay.
So it is possible to play videos. We just need to, again, make sure they're in FLV or MP4. And in my meeting room, that's this right here is an FLV that I uploaded in the room. And all I got to do is just come in, go to that layout, hit play, and it'll play throughout my session. And that's in a SharePod that you would upload that. Oh, there's not a Vimeo app as well. So sorry, I didn't hear that first part. So the last thing we're going to talk about is Adobe Presenter. So what Presenter is it's a plug into PowerPoint that allows you to create engaging content with audio, video, gamification, YouTube, and also quizzing and surveying. So if you've used PowerPoint before, it's very easy. I'm sure all of you use PowerPoint. It's PowerPoint, but it's on steroids. So it's going to give you a lot of different functionality. So you can see it plugs in right to PowerPoint right here, Adobe Presenter. And I'm just going to move left to right on some of these topics here. So the first one you'll see is record. So what I can do is if I want, I can actually record my audio if I want to. You can see I have my script up here, and I could record the whole thing at once with my script showing, or I can do one slide at a time if I want to. And you can see as I go and record that, my script will change as well. Now one thing you're going to probably ask me is say, Craig, you know, that's great and all. There's no chance I'll be able to go through this and not screw up one time or cough or lose my voice. We can actually go in and edit this audio if we want to. So maybe I have a 2015 presentation and all the information is still accurate, but I want to change it to 2016. I can actually go in, highlight over it, right-click, and record right over that information and make sure that it's up to date. And now instead of re-recording the whole thing, I just took a snippet and just put 2016. Also, if I want to insert silence, if I want to increase the volume, I can do that. Or maybe I just want to cut something because what I think is just really not important anymore. Now, one thing people really love, I've noticed with PowerPoint, is syncing it to animation, is we have the same thing as we're able to sync the audio with animation if need be. My next that I'd love to talk about is going to be called Video Express. So Video Express is going to give you the ability to capture yourself on webcam in your computer screen with just a few clicks. There is some presenter licenses out there that you guys have. I don't know who they're assigned to, unfortunately, but some people do have them, and the cost for it is pretty nice too. So I'll go over that here in just a second. So this is a Presenter Video Express file that I actually created. And you can see I'm actually in a custom background. I'll pause it. And you can see I have the pyramids in my background. I'm also sharing my screen. I'm actually teaching someone how to create an Adobe Connect meeting room. Now as I'm going through this, you're going to see I'm going to go full screen right to my actual screen so we could spend more time on something spend more time about maybe logging into Connect, because that's a bigger deal than just seeing my ugly mug right on your screen. And then as I hit play again, it'll play through, and you'll see it'll actually transition to myself on my webcam and then also my screen. Now as you can see, I actually had a quiz question pop up right here. So if I want to have a quiz right in this video, I can actually click right here and have that available to me, potentially where I can do single response, multiple answer. I can give it the number of attempts if I wanted to, or I can make it mandatory. Or if I want to make it graded, I can do that right here and give it a score, potentially, if need be. Now I can also, if need be, add closed captioning to this. So if we want to make sure we're in 508 compliance, we can do that. We can actually generate the closed captioning right here if we wanted to as well. Now there's other annotation tools that we can actually use if we'd like to, or if we want to do some more enhanced video. Maybe you want to change the background to a restaurant, or maybe we want to make it some sporting, or maybe I want to do it on a stage, or maybe just give it a solid white background. Maybe I want to give it my cube. I can actually go ahead and do that right from here if need be. And there's a few pages that you can go ahead and mess with potentially if you'd like to. Pan, zoom, trim, and again, if we want to eliminate some of this, we can do that right from here. And I'm going to exit that out. And creating this is really easy. Now, what I mean by that is all you got to do is click the Video Express tool, and it's going to load up here in just a second. And what I'll do is I'll click this green button, Create New Project, and it's going to say, Make My Background Awesome. So you're going to see I'm going to take a snapshot right now, and you should be at a solid backdrop wall. You shouldn't have people behind you standing there or sitting right there, but we'll just take a snapshot here. Easy enough. I'm going to draw a line to the top of my head, right down my shirt buttons, and I'm going to go shoulder to shoulder. You can see I have bad posture. I'm going to hit I'm fully selected. We'll just say I'm fully selected. My preview looks good. Awesome. And I'm going to change my background potentially. So we'll just say I've got a dark border right behind me. Maybe I want to put myself, looks like I'm in a kitchen. Let's see what this one, the library potentially. And you can see you can go ahead, pick and choose how you want it, and then just hit record, and it's going to capture yourself on your webcam, and it's also going to capture your screen. So easy enough to do right from there. We also do training on this, and we do it on rotating Fridays, so you can go ahead and learn a little bit more about that Video Express and Presenter. Interactions, so what this is going to give you the ability to is do certain things. Maybe you want to do certificates. Maybe you want to do a little hangman prior to your session to make it a little bit more interactive. That's available to you potentially if you'd like to go ahead and have certain things like this. Maybe you want to do a timeline, or you want to do a word search potentially right here. And you can see I actually have one in here right now that people can go ahead and interact with potentially. Characters, so if you want to add certain characters right into your session, maybe if you want to, maybe I want to add this guy pointing at you because he's cool. Any scenes potentially, if I want to embed a web object, so maybe I want to put a certain URL that I want you to browse to, I can do that. And again, YouTube, another big one is that on this on-demand presentation, I could actually put a YouTube link in there and have you go to that potentially. Swift files, videos, FLV, MP4, you want to go ahead, put that right on there. You can go ahead. And the last thing is going to be surveying, quizzing. We can do multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, short answer, matching, Likert, sequence, hotspot, drag and drop. So all these are available to you that you can use whether in an on-demand or live session. And it'll report right back to Adobe Connect, or for those of you who work with different learning management systems, AICC, SCORM, and TINCAN as well. Now, simple to do, great. You've done all that, and we want to publish it. We can publish that right to our Adobe Connect account if we'd like to, and we could actually put our URL right in here. And I'm just going to do that right now because I actually had to reinstall this. There it is. We can see that's clerics.adobeconnect.com, and I would be publishing right to our Adobe Connect account, or I can publish it as a PDF to my computer, or I wanted to do it to Captivate Prime potentially. That is available to me.
Craig, I think I may need to stop you here because we do want to get to the renewal of the contract.
Yep.
Are there final notes that you can just share with us for a few minutes quickly before we move on, or are you?
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is that with Presenter, you can use that in an on-demand capacity. So if you wanted to put that in a learning management system, if you want to use that anytime, you can use that in an on-demand setting and upload it right to maybe an LMS. You can also use it in a live session. So instead of giving my presentation live today, I could actually recorded it with Presenter and hit play and actually just sit back and watch myself doing the recording, doing work if I want to. We have some questions coming in. I'll make sure I answer those in just a moment. I know we have about 8 minutes left. Judy, do you want me to talk about the potential renewal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do you want to? Is there something you want to share on your screen? Because there are no slides for that. I just left it open for you.
No, just talking's fine.
Okay.
So the Adobe Connect account is going to be expiring on December 9th. So that's about a little over 2 months away for everyone. What we did last year is that everyone who wanted to renew, they contacted the Rutgers office, so that would be Judy, and let them know that they wanted to renew to get a count of how many people. We can also, Judy, what we'll do is we'll look in the meeting host group and reach out to some of those people if we don't hear from them, just to make sure we're on the ball with everything. As well, if those of you who don't have a Connect account and are interested in an account, I would say if you can reach out to me and Judy, CC us both on an email, that would be greatly appreciated, just to make sure we have the appropriate counts on what we need for licenses. And more than happy to set up a time and go through any other additional functionality for those of you who are new to Connect and are really interested in holding virtual training, collaborating on projects, or even just meeting with people virtually as well. It doesn't need to be. There's a lot of different use cases for Connect. If you have any questions on those different use cases, let me know. The one thing about Presenter is licensed, so it's different than the meeting licenses. You pay for it once, and then you just pay maintenance and support. So at first, there's a larger upfront cost to purchase the license, and then you just pay maintenance and support, which is like 40, 50 bucks, I believe it is. And what the maintenance and support is going to allow you to do is have the latest and greatest version of Adobe Presenter when it gets released. And they release a new one usually every year. And the reason they want you to get maintenance and support for the first year is because if you buy Presenter 11, don't get maintenance and support, and 2 weeks later they release Presenter 12, you are not going to be a happy camper because you would have to pay the upgrade fee. So that's why maintenance and support for Presenter is required year one. One thing that AETC also does have is a shared webinar room, a 500-seat room available to them. So for those of you who are looking to do larger sessions of over 100 people, so our meeting room has up to 100 people. If you're looking to do larger sessions, marketing webinars, training webinars, that is available to you, and that can hold up to 500 people in your room. And we talked a little bit about that functionality and using events. There's actually an event management solution that comes with it, so it'll actually do the pre and post event registration with automated emails, customized registration and landing pages, and it'll give you the ability to take those custom reports home with you as well. Any questions on anything anyone has right now? If you do know you want to renew your Connect account, if you can write in the chat pod, or if you can talk to Judy separately and let her know, that would be appreciated, because that'll help us as we go through this renewal process in the next 2 months plus?
Actually, I think would be better or best would be for them to contact me or to contact John Nelson, only because I believe all of the contracts come through our program anyway, and then they pay us individually. So it might be easier for them to just contact one of us here, and then we can touch base with you and let you know what our needs are.
Cool.
And so basically, they just let us know. Everyone will just let us know what their needs are, if they're renewing, or if they want to start a new contract, and we just pass that information on to you, and you handle it from there. Is that what I understand? Okay.
Yep. Correct. So we'll do that from there, and make sure that everyone's all set, and we'll take some time offline, Judy, and go through those names. As well, if we need to kick anyone out or if we need to update things, we can easily do that.
And again, the account expires on December 9th, you said?
The account expires on December 9th, correct.
Okay.
So according to my spreadsheet here, we got about 80 days. Okay. Awesome. Well, I have a session at 2, so I'll stick around a few more moments here. And if you guys have any questions, please direct them towards Judy. Can we export presentations without all the pods to MP4 formats? You can export the recordings if you want as an MP4 if you'd like to do that. Offline it as an MP4, and you could actually decide if you want the chat. You can take the chat pod out. You can anonymize the attendee list, and you could hide the attendee list. Are a few things that you can do. And what normally people do is they'll offline it as an MP4 and they'll upload it to YouTube that way.
So Craig did mention earlier that there are ongoing Adobe Connect customer training sessions, and I've posted the link to that here in the slides. And you can sign up for that. You said every 2 weeks, did you say? Craig, one of those?
Yeah, so Monday's administration, which no, you guys don't need to attend. Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be on meetings, and then rotating Fridays is going to be on Adobe Presenter as well.
So for further information on anything you did see here today, you certainly can sign up for one of those training sessions. Are there any additional questions at this time? So I guess not. Well, thank you again, Craig. We will be in touch just to go over some more information about the new contract renewal. Again, if his information is in the chat room, it is on the slides. It will be posted on our website along with the recording if anyone wants to contact him directly. Just a couple of notes about our next call. If you do have any ideas about what we can present on the next call, we have some ideas already posted here, but if you have others, feel free to let me know. It is tentatively set for November 15th. And if there's nothing else, I think we'll end the call.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone, for taking some time out of your day. Nice meeting for those of you who I haven't spoken to, and if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to let us know.
Thanks again, Craig.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye, everyone.